And a very happy Wednesday to you at 12:08 in the West. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang is across the glass.
John, let's check in on the public comments going on at LA City Hall right now.
Hello, Speaker. Which items did you want to speak to?
Thank you, Attorney Grote. If you allow me, I would like to speak on 23, 24, 25, and the general.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Grote. To start with item number 23. 能不能让我陪着你走？既然你说留不住你。
They've stopped trying to Google translate him.
Well, at least he's not using dirty language.
Let's see what the other item was about.
Thank you, Attorney. I would like to move on to item number 24.
Go ahead.
我想我可以忍住悲伤。
How about the next one?
Thank you, Attorney. I would like to move on to item number 25. 可不可以忍住悲伤？只不这样，你也会想。
You know, I never thought of it that way.
He certainly has a lot to say.
Well, he has a lot more to say when it comes to general public comment. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Attorney, I would like to move on to general public comment.
Yes, please.
My name is Mistress Shaniqua Goddess Bangnisha.
I didn't know that was his name.
Wow. Is that Episcopal?
My name is Mistress Shaniqua Goddess Bangnisha, and I'm here to advocate for our Figueroa community. We need healthy Figueroa prostitute so our single man can have a chance to experience what sexual intercourse feels like, especially for someone who never seen a vagina before.
This is not within the jurisdiction of the Los Angeles City Council.
Why not?
Are you sure?
We need more affordable Figueroa sex workers in our Figueroa community.
This is not within the jurisdiction of LA City Council, Mr. City Attorney.
Yes.
Can have some
They're not kicking him out.
No, he's still going.
have some entertainment after a hard day of work after Figueroa community. We need a clean Figueroa community sex workers so we can have sex without being a Magic Johnson or HIV.
Whoa! I don't think I've ever heard anyone use Magic Johnson as a verb.
He's going to the Wayback Machine.
We need a clean Figueroa community sex workers so we can have sex without being a Magic Johnson or HIV because we deserve clean sex in Figueroa community. Last week, I was trying to get Figueroa 3 minutes general non-agenda sex, but I was denied by the LAPD and by our city council. I deserve to have an orgasm in the city of
Thank you,
LA.
Speaker. Your time's expired.
I mean, where else are you going to get entertainment like that?
Well, not in Glendora. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. I don't know what all of you boys and girls out there in radio land have been doing of late, but clearly you've been doing something right because God is rewarding you today. Randy, we've got an update on the former mayor of Oakland, Sheng Thao.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And at first, it was just going to be a real simple update because, you know, baseball is about to start.
And we still got our Oakland A's, baby.
No, you don't. But the Coliseum's going to have cricket.
I'm sure that'll be entertaining.
But no, what happened yesterday was we got yet another update to this bizarre story of the shootout involving one of the witnesses in the Sheng Thao corruption case, where last time we checked in with this, Mario Juarez, who was the point man who helped organize the smear campaign against Lauren Taylor funded by the Dong family to benefit Sheng Thao and then stiff the printer, he alleged that his house got shot up by people hired by the Dongs.
And then he got his guns and went out in the middle of the street and started shooting indiscriminately in the direction that their car drove to.
So the incredible IT reporter at ABC News Bay Area, Dan Noyes, he got an interview with one of the shooters.
So one of the shooters is not only willing to cop to it, but they're willing to go on the news and talk about it?
Yes. And the shooter claims Mario shot first.
Well, what was he doing in a car outside his house with a gun?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anything that keeps the Sheng story alive is a good day in my book. But what is going on in Oakland is you have probably the most unorganized, organized crime anyone's ever seen.
Well, if you're going to try to kill a witness, you better be successful, because otherwise they're going to be real angry when it comes time to get in front of the judge.
For more, here is ABC 7 in the Bay Area and the incredible Dan Noyes.
Mario started shooting first.
He started shooting first.
Yeah.
That sounds like an educated man.
Well, he shot at me first, so I had to shoot at him and then come back and do a drive-by at his house 2 times.
Didn't they shoot his house up so it looked like the Bonnie and Clyde car?
Yes.
Who shot first? He claims it was self-defense.
This is Oakland's Dallas moment. Who shot JR?
Who shot first? He claims it was self-defense in an interview with the I-Team that you will only see on ABC 7 News. Good evening, I'm Amma Dates.
And I'm Dan Ashley. Thanks for joining us. The man admits shooting at a key witness in the federal corruption case against former Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao and others.
Oh, I love how Shengy gets the shout-out. They could very easily say the corruption trial of Andy Dong and others, but no, they make sure that we're all aware that this is tied to our Shengy.
Oakland Bees!
You know she's watching at home, jumping up and down, so happy that she's still being talked about.
You think Andre lets her watch the news?
Well, if she's jumping up and down and not wearing a bra, he does.
The case keeps taking twists and turns, and the I-Team's Dan Noyes got that exclusive interview today after a hearing in Oakland Superior Court.
He sure did, and Dan joins us now with the story, Dan.
Well, Dan and Amma, we have 2 people who were firing at each other. The stories are similar in some ways, but very different in others.
One thing is clear, both of them are terrible shots.
Yeah, how many shots did they take and not one landed?
In Oakland Superior Court this morning, 24-year-old Hermelindo Ramos Ramos made his first...
Wait, his name is Hermelindo Ramos Ramos?
Same name twice?
What's going on here?
And I've never heard of Hermelindo before. And let me tell you, I used to watch The Big Spin regularly when that was on television. So I'm familiar with just about every Spanish name on the planet.
In Oakland Superior Court this morning, 24-year-old Hermelindo Ramos Ramos made his first appearance.
You know, Ramos Ramos.
You name your kid that, they're destined for special ed.
Facing felony charges of shooting at an inhabited dwelling and shooting at an unoccupied vehicle, plus several gun and violent conduct enhancements. Ramos Ramos admitted to me...
I wonder what Pam Price would have charged him with.
Well, she would have held him up for money.
Quite frankly.
Ramos Ramos admitted to me that he fired a handgun at Mario Juarez, believed to be co-conspirator 1, an important key witness in the federal bribery and corruption indictment against former Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao, her boyfriend Andre Jones, and the owners of California Waste Solutions, David and Andy Duong.
It is the worst organized crime family in the world.
This would be one of those mob movies that doubles as a slapstick comedy.
But he says it was all a mistake.
I go to play soccer in the park.
Ramos Ramos says he was...
I can't get over his name.
Okay, let's just assume that you were going to play soccer in the park. Why do you need a gun?
Well, it's Oakland.
I told you you're not supposed to use your hands. Bang.
It's a lot of crime now.
Is that a red card?
I go to play soccer in the park.
Ramos Ramos says he was heading home from Josie de la Cruz Park when he spotted Mario Juarez's Suburban parked in front of his house with the trunk open.
And then if we finish play soccer, I try to go my home. When I go my home, I see that his car is open. I try to close it, and then...
So he somehow recognizes Mario Juarez's car with the trunk open, and he goes to close the trunk of somebody else's car?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. With a piece on him.
And then he shooted me.
He shooted me.
Ramos Ramos tells quite the story here.
and then he shot me.
I reached Mario Juarez today, and he confirms firing first.
Well, maybe this guy's telling the truth.
He tells me suspects in 2 cars were breaking into his SUV, banging bricks against the windows. You can see a brick on the ground.
Wait, what does this have to do with coming home from soccer?
Maybe it had nothing to do with the trial, and maybe Ramos Ramos was just robbing them like what happens every day in Oakland.
Well, that is a possibility.
It's wild, wild west out here.
Banging bricks against the windows. You can see a brick on the ground. Red marks from bricks on the windows in photos Juarez provided. Juarez said he heard the noise, went outside, and spotted someone in his SUV, and behind him sat multiple cars, double parked with engines running, and from one of them, a man pointed a gun directly at me. In that moment, I knew I was facing death.
How would you survive that? He shot his way out.
So all of these people, if we're to believe that this guy was just coming home from a soccer match, Ramos Ramos, and he sees the back of the SUV open, he wants to be a good Samaritan and tries to close it with a brick. And then the witness sees what's going on, descends on the scene with his own gun, and opens fire at Ramos Ramos.
Apparently.
I fired. He fired. We exchanged gunfire. I ran and took cover inside the house. While he waited for police, Juarez says the cars returned twice over half an hour and fired again.
Okay. Who were you trying to help then? Were you trying to get a cat out of a tree? Ramos Ramos?
And you carry your gun all the time?
No, it's not my gun. Just somebody give to me.
Someone just gave him the gun.
Someone on the street. Hey, you look like you're going to need this. Why don't you take it?
Here, just pull the trigger and keep shooting at that guy.
If you hired this dumb son of a bitch to be an assassin, you deserve your money back.
What do you think he costs for a hit?
I don't know. Maybe some Pez?
Somebody give to me.
Someone just gave me this gun, and I started shooting it.
How'd you get that gun? Someone just give to me.
No, it's not my gun. Just somebody give to me.
This story cannot get any more ridiculous.
And everyone's dumb enough to go on television and tell the story.
Whose gun was it?
I don't know.
Someone in your car.
Yeah.
Mario Juarez.
Someone just gave him a gun in his car.
Okay, so he doesn't know who's riding shotgun in his car with a shotgun.
Maybe he was coming home from soccer and his buddies say, hey, come with us. We got a job to do. Pays real well.
So wait, you think they just hired an assassin at the Home Depot?
Yes. $100 a day.
That's a new one.
Mario Juarez was a founding partner with David and Andy DeWong in Evolutionary Homes, a company that tried to sell homeless shelters made out of shipping containers.
And again, this is why, whether it's the city of Oakland, the city of San Francisco, or the great city of Los Angeles, we have to re-examine every single contract that we have with these homeless developers and homeless service providers. Because more often than not, we're seeing they are criminal organizations.
And what they were trying to do was put the homeless in shipping containers.
Yes.
Well, they should have just taken it a step farther and put them on a ship and sent them to China.
Juarez told me today he believes that Ramos Ramos may have some connection to the DeWongs. Lawyers for both David and Andy DeWong emailed me late today. They strongly deny the allegation that they were involved in any way in this incident.
When we put out a hit on somebody, it works.
That whole town is an insane asylum.
Ramos Ramos also said he never heard of David or Andy DeWong. He's back in court next month. Dan?
Interesting. All right. More to come. You'll keep following. Thanks, Dan. Good job.
So if you take Mr. Ramos Ramos at his word, he was coming home from soccer, saw an open trunk, and someone handed him a gun, and bang, bang.
You know, I'll tell you this. This is part of the problem, and I've served on jury duty before. I'm never doing it again. But when you have a group of people all of whom have room temperature IQs. And none of what they do makes any sense at all. And you're given the task of sorting out who did what. It's impossible.
I'm starting to believe the smartest person among this whole lot was Sheng.
Absolutely.
Or maybe it's Pamela Price. She is the crime boss.
I've been bipped several times.
I got to put crime boss. I got to put that on the hot bar because you're requesting that one every day now.
She called me a crime boss.
That is my favorite. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, if you missed yesterday's episode and you want to find out what you missed out on, that's easy to do.
All you got to do is search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcast, whether that's iHeart, whether that is Spotify, whether that is Apple Podcasts. Search for The John Phillips Show, and you, too, can find out all of the countries that Ricardo Lara has visited on your dime.
I'm very kind of sketchy.
And just in case Ramos is listening, and he wants to listen to one of the podcasts, you get it on the box with the buttons. They have these smaller boxes and sound comes out. You don't need a gun for it either. What do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
Well, let's do that right now. 790 KABC welcomes Ricky Gervais' Mortality at the Hollywood Bowl on May 31st. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing.
You know how the soccer coach laid out the plays for Ramos Ramos?
How?
See-ball, kickball. Kickball again. But, Randy, right now it's time for a Cousin Eddie alert.
There is a lot full of luxury RVs that has been taken over by the homeless, which means that lot has turned into a whole bunch of blight and crime and fire.
You know, if they pulled this stunt when Cal Worthington was still alive, I don't think they'd live to tell about it.
Let's find out what exactly the hell is going on inside this stolen RV encampment in the City of Industry with Fox 11.
A luxury RV lot overrun by squatters, trash piling up, trailers burning, and safety concerns growing.
Holy cow.
There's a lot going on there.
But why do some say they had no choice but to move in?
Fox 11's Haley Winslow.
No, you had plenty of choices.
Yeah, you chose to move in because you now have an RV lot of complete lawlessness where you can do all the drugs you want.
Fox 11's Haley Winslow is in the City of Industry.
This is definitely one of the wilder homeless encampment stories we've covered. Behind me, an estimated $6.5 million worth of travel trailers that homeless are living in, and not even surveillance cameras, private security, even the law has been able to stop the constant crime and fires, including one while we're here.
Society is over. We're done. We had a good run.
I'm telling you, if you want to see one of these things and you don't want to go to the City of Industry, Oakland, I know that name appears frequently on this program. In Oakland, when I was there last season to watch the Angels play the A's, you walk in this chain-linked cage from the BART station to the stadium, and you walk over a homeless encampment of RVs that goes on forever, and all you see is smoke from fires that have been set by the homeless.
Apparently, the people inside this encampment, which is a lot full of stolen RVs, are so dangerous, the private security couldn't do anything about this. And apparently, because it's on private land and these are technically domiciles, law enforcement can't do anything about this. They have to go through the eviction process.
Just send in the dogs.
It's the soundtrack to Southern California.
Used to be K-Earth.
Fire rages out this RV door. It was home to this woman who calls herself Lucifer.
What?
Whoa. I'd rather go by Ramos Ramos.
So a woman sets fire to her own RV, and her name is Lucifer?
I wonder if she's got a birthmark that says 666.
Fire rages out this RV door. It was home to this woman who calls herself Lucifer. Residents say fires are a regular occurrence at this City of Industry parking lot.
Of course, because homeless equals fires.
And imagine having a homeless neighbor named Lucifer. Wouldn't you expect her to be a doll?
The property manager, neighbors, and business owners say it's become a crime-ridden homeless encampment over the past 2 years.
Homelessness. 2 years! It took 2 years for us to discover this one.
How can they let this go on this long?
Homelessness keeps increasing and increasing since I've been living here. And it honestly just comes down to our politicians who are doing nothing about it.
Nissan employees use part of the lot for inventory overflow.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
Well, let me check in and make sure our favorite Nissan isn't parked there.
That was an Altima LTMA 4899410. Please move it now. You're blocking someone.
I wouldn't send Jesse in there. He may not make it out.
Nissan employees use part of the lot for inventory overflow. They're fed up with the homeless stealing brand new car tires, even gas in the tank.
Maybe they were just thirsty. Got the old siphoning hose out.
Well, what is Lucifer like with her lunch?
Maybe that's how the fire started. She sucked out some gasoline with the siphoning hose and then held a match up to her face and blew.
That would be her Facebook profile pic.
At night, it's kind of scary to come over here. Every morning, like, we have cops come down or, like, the sheriff's department come down, and they drive through the lot to see if anyone's doing anything, and then they just leave. But, I mean, they've told us that we can't really do anything because it's abandoned.
But wait, they don't have the legal right to be there. They don't own the RV. They stole it. That's a crime.
Not anymore.
They don't own the property, so that's trespassing. That's a crime.
Not anymore.
They're lighting fires. That's arson. That's a crime.
Not anymore.
They're doing drugs, which is motivating them to light the fires. That's a crime.
Not anymore.
But the cops can't do anything about it.
Nothing.
Abandoned.
The property manager tells me the man who bought 130 of these brand new campers from Black Series just left them in the lot and hasn't paid rent in 2 years.
Okay, this story's getting weirder by the second.
Who buys a bunch of RVs and then just leaves them somewhere?
This sounds like some crooked Chinese deal.
It's got to be.
Raymond Henderson.
Anytime you hear abandoned building in the state of California, it's usually some crooked Chinese company.
Well, we need to put them on a ship and go dump them on the other side of the Great Wall.
No, they're not even here. They're buying it from there. Totally legal to buy property in the state of California from another country.
Great.
Raymond Henderson works at a local meat market and stays here.
Did you break into one to live there?
No. And see, that's the thing. The owner came back and told people they can stay here if they gave him $300.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
So according to this man, he was told by the owner of this lot that he, if he paid $300, could live in one of these RVs.
Lifetime rent.
What exactly is going on?
$300 a month, you can get a trailer.
The crux of what has turned into a convoluted civil court battle.
What they about to do is put everybody...
And the city says, not our problem, it's on private land. The county says, not our problem, it's in the City of Industry. Nobody wants to take responsibility for this, and apparently the fires are so often now that when the news reporters went to cover the story yesterday, that's when Lucifer decided to blow flames.
Okay, do they know they're creating a vigilante factory here? If the government fails to perform its basic duties and people have to live in a neighborhood where you have crazy homeless people named Lucifer starting fires on a regular basis, your home might burn down, and we're already uninsurable to begin with, and we allow this to go on?
What they about to do is put everybody back out on the street, and they don't care. This city gets so much money to bring in, to home these, to house these people. They don't spend the money on that. Imagine this was your family and how you would want them to be treated.
So he's upset that they're being asked to leave the stolen RVs.
Okay, imagine if this was your child and this was how they were being treated. Now, Randy, you're more of an authority on the Bible than I am, but who are Lucifer's parents?
The property manager says it's going to cost $80,000 to clean up this trash, and it all starts tomorrow with 40-yard bins. They're hoping to have everybody out in 2 days.
That's not going to happen.
No, not even close.
They're hoping to have everybody out in 2 days, which is great news for the businesses around here that are getting burglarized. And one warehouse where they found millions of dollars of goods stolen from the train that runs behind this property.
This is every kind of crime combined into one unlawful homeless encampment full of stolen RVs.
But the cops can't do anything about it.
They're lighting things on fire, they're stealing tires, stealing gasoline, and they're robbing the trains that go through the city of Industry.
Okay, that's a federal crime because that's interstate commerce. You cannot rob trains that are taking goods from the port to other states. And if the local authorities won't do anything about it, then Trump should send in the feds to clean this thing up.
I want to know locally why none of this apparently is a crime. We got to get Hochman on the phone. What the hell is going on in the city of Industry?
You know what Trump should do? Instead of dealing with the crazy homeless people, instead of going after Lucifer, he should just go arrest all of the public officials that refuse to do anything about this. Because if you allow people to rob trains so the people in Idaho can't get their stuff, that is California failing to do its basic job and disrupting interstate commerce. The U.S. attorney for California should step in and start putting people in prison.
Reporting in the city of Industry, I'm Haley Winslow, Fox 11 News.
LA County Supervisor Hilda Solis says the property owner has won a court order to remove the occupants, and that outreach teams are helping them find housing.
Oh, of course. Hilda Solis is making sure that we have her homeless advocates go in and see if any of these people need services.
Hey, Hilda, why don't you watch the news from time to time? Because if you did and you were aware of what was going on, because it's been going on for, 2 years?
Yes.
Maybe you could sober up and do your job?
Yes.
You know, I know that the homeless advocates that Hilda Solis hires offer a wide variety of services, but considering that Lucifer's in the camp, do our homeless advocates offer exorcisms?
I don't know if the ambassadors have that kind of training.
Absolutely not.
If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
Rick writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com and says, "Hey, Sheng, you think one Ramos will be enough? Maybe we'll hire two."
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ramos, just when you think our cast of loony characters couldn't be any larger, we learn about Mr. Ramos today.
Well, I assume he's going to go on trial, too, correct?
Yes. For shooting up Mario's house twice.
Oh, we have to cover that trial.
Would you serve on that jury?
No. I'm never doing that again. And right now it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And if Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett were here, she'd say this story involves Hot Wheels.
This story involves a perpetrator that belongs in a very special place in hell because a disabled teenager who needs a wheelchair to get around and get out of his house had his wheelchair stolen in front of his house.
Uh-oh.
Oakland, do better. Here's KTVU.
Out to Oakland, a 17-year-old with muscular dystrophy had his specialized chair stolen right from his yard. New at 6 tonight, KTVU's Henry Lee joins us live tonight in studio with his story and his mother's plea for help here. Henry?
Well, Mike, the teenager TJ, because of his condition, needs this chair to get around, and now he feels helpless as a result of this theft, which was caught on video.
Of course, we've got video of everything, not that it matters.
I love the fact that we have everything on tape, but no one gets arrested.
I can't go outside anymore.
can't spend time with friends.
17-year-old TJ is dejected after someone stole a special chair he uses to get in and out of his home in Oakland's Fruitvale district. The teenager has muscular dystrophy and relies on the equipment to go to school.
We're stealing from the disabled.
Not only the disabled, but a disabled minor.
Why? And a bit upset because what are you doing with that chair if you can use your hands and walk and stuff?
Surveillance.
Well, they got to chop it up and sell it for scraps so they could buy some meth.
You think that's what they're going to do, or do you think it's just going to end up being storage space for the homeless?
Surveillance video shows someone, apparently a woman, making off with TJ's chair last Tuesday.
I depend on it to go down the stairs to get to point A.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me he goes down a flight of stairs in a wheelchair?
It's a special chair.
Now, wait a minute. It's still a chair with four wheels. Would you go down a flight of stairs in a wheelchair?
If it's made specifically to be able to handle that, sure.
That doesn't seem like a good idea.
I depend on it to go down the stairs to get to point A to point B. And it's a way to get out of the house easier.
TJ's mother, Tamika Lyle, said she left the chair in the gated yard of their home near Fruitvale Avenue and East 22nd Street last Tuesday morning to charge the battery. Within the hour, it was gone.
That's all it lasted, was an hour?
Maybe someone thought that they were doing a curb alert on Craigslist.
Pretty sad that someone would come in and steal handicap equipment, not knowing what they stole and how valuable it is to the family.
TJ's friends helped him back inside the day of the theft, but over the past week, he's been...
Hey, I need you to carry me inside the house because the thugs stole my chair.
How many times can you call in that favor before people start sending you to voicemail?
But over the past week, he's been stuck at home, unable to get to school or even get fresh air. Lyles worries about what could happen if there's an emergency and she can't get him out. He weighs more than 200 pounds. She's contacted Oakland police about the theft. After KTVU shared her story online, a number of viewers offered to pay for a replacement chair. The one that was stolen is worth about $4,000.
Holy cow!
Who's making those wheelchairs and charging them $4,000 for it?
It's very special. Goes up and down the stairs. He needs it.
Can you give me my chair back? Because I need it to get out of the house.
Now, anyone who has seen this chair is asked to contact the Oakland Police Department. Mike?
Yes. Of course, it's an Oakland story, so the police have no leads on this, even though it's on video.
If I tried to go down a flight of stairs in a wheelchair, I think I'd end up like a turtle on its shell.